Hey everybody, welcome back to the March Mood Mindfulness. Today it's day 23 and we're talking about the self-love languages, the 5 self-love languages, and today specifically we're talking about quality time alone. So this week we're talking about love, self-love, self-acceptance, coming back to us and really honoring ourselves and being true to ourselves and loving ourselves. Yesterday we talked about how we talk to ourselves and our thoughts, and today I wanted to talk about quality time alone. Now this was something that I must admit at first was hard for me to understand, because all my my whole day, my time awake is always, I find, spent with others doing. And I was, for the better part of a lot of my life, I was a human doing that more than a human being. And so I always thought to myself, well, I don't spend any time with myself. I wouldn't know what to do with myself if I spent time with myself. And you recognize then that the thoughts that you were thinking and the feelings that you were having are so strong inside, and you're so uncomfortable and you don't know what to do with them. This is what causes you to switch off and not be with yourself and choose to be with others, because you can't handle the thoughts that are going on in your head and the emotions that you're feeling. You're much better off at dealing with other people's problems because you don't feel those emotions, right? But anytime the attention is on you, you feel like, no, I can't handle this. I don't want to do this. Shut down. And a part of solitude, and it's really important, is that solitude allows you to put a distance between yourself and others, and it forces you to focus on yourself. So I wanted to bring up here the benefits of solitude. And one thing how I broke this was I told myself that creative minds value solitude. So I'm a very creative mind. I'm always thinking of how things should be fixed and what needs to be done, and very, very creative, always trying to find a gap, always trying to find the better. And so how I was able to bridge my thinking was to tell myself the opposite of what I was doing. Creative mind, I was always telling myself that I needed to be in the thick of it to solve problems. And so I flipped the script on myself and told myself that I actually need to be away from the problem so that I can figure out the problem and then be able to solve it. But in doing so, you're actually creating space between you and the problem and sitting with your own self, which is when the problem for you is your emotions and being able to handle your emotions. And if you have a really tough inner critic, that is the whole issue, right? So the benefits of solitude is that it allows you to unjumble, unscramble all the things that are happening here and put them in their place. So if what you're saying sounds a lot like what your mom is saying, that's not you. If what you're saying sounds a lot of what the news is saying, that's not you. If what you're saying sounds like what your partner is saying, that is not you. If you're saying something and you're not feeling good about it, there is a disconnection and a conflict between what you really want and what you're actually doing. Anytime a feeling comes up, there is a disconnection there between what you really want and what you actually need. First of all, being able to acknowledge and be aware of your thoughts, acknowledge and be aware of your feelings is the huge part. It's like bravery, it's courage, it's facing the lion, right? And then being able to pull that thread and then go, that's not me. I never believed that in the first place. I don't like that. I want to be like that, and just start to unravel what each of the thoughts are, what each of the beliefs are, what the stories that you've been hearing all your life that you just have been recounting just because that's unconsciously what you've been doing, but then finally realizing that, you know what, all my life I've told myself that I've not been smart, and if I look back and see over the million things that I've done, I've been so smart to get to that conclusion. I've been so smart to get that diploma. I've been so smart to land this job, do this project, cook this meal, buy that special thing, order this thing that was so helpful for me. There's just, you're looking at evidence in your life to revoke that belief that was inserted by like a teacher or a stupid kid back in like second grade. You know, like sometimes people just imprint on us at a time when we're like not too savvy, a time when we're just like sponges, and that thing sticks, and we just take it with us and we live our life with this thing over our head. So at times of solitude, when you hear that, I can't do this, I'm not doing that because I don't want to go back to school, and the teacher in grade 1 told me that I wasn't very clever, was I? And if you were just to pick that and take it out of your brain and replace it with like, I can be as clever as I choose to be, that could be the difference between you starting a new whatever it is. Like if you wanted to start a new business, just start a new career, started a new thing that you were learning, teaching your kids something else, or learning alongside with your kids as they grow older. So the whole point of being in solitude is to just be aware of the thoughts that are coming up and, you know, questioning them. Like, really? I don't believe that. Where did that come from? I wonder where that came from. Similarly with these feelings, so if you find that you're finding it hard to sit down, it's like, okay, what's going on when I sit down? Oh, that's interesting. There's a really uncomfortable feeling. Like, I feel sad that I'm alone. I wonder why I feel sad that I'm alone. Because I believe that when you're alone, it means that there's no one there to love you. Where does that come from? And you really start to reflect back on where some of your feelings, where you recognize them. Oh, I recognize that as like at recess from high school. I used to have this feeling of, that's right, all the girls would go along and leave me alone. And I'd always get this feeling, oh, I see. All right, well, but I remember that those girls were going to smoke in the bathroom, and I always knew that I didn't want to go there. So like, I'm kind of cool with that. Just because I was rejected by the smoking girls doesn't mean that I was rejected by humanity, right? I just chose not to go down that route. And of course they won't want to hang around with someone like that. So actually this is not sadness. So being rejected by someone I don't want to hang around with is not a bad thing. That's like a good thing. And you start to talk through some of your feelings, some of your thoughts, and some of your emotions. And that's really what solitude allows you for. It allows you to just to get in there. And sometimes it's really uncomfortable and it's not something we want to do, so we distract ourselves with, you know, cooking dinner, then sitting with the kids, then it's time to watch Netflix, and oh look, I'm exhausted, I've fallen asleep on the couch, and you just put yourself back to back with activities because it's uncomfortable to sit here in this thought and in this thinking. So I find that solitude, once you understand how it serves you, it's a place for growth. It's a place for your spirit to find peace. It's a place for your body to release some of the emotions that's been hanging on for like all the years of your life. The other benefit of solitude is that it allows you to think deeply about your challenges, right? So in a time when you're not like at the brink where it's do or die, but you know that you've got something happening, taking time away from people, taking time away from that challenge allows you to breathing room almost, and you can start to make your plans. Like, if this happens, I could do such and such and such. If this happens, I could do such and such and such. And the more plans you make, so if you have just one plan, you're going to be desperate. If you have two plans, it's like, yeah, okay, there's just two options. If you have three, you've got like the whole world is open. Because as you start to come up with opportunities and different decisions that you can make, you can realize just how many ways you can deal with your problems. And that creates a lot of ease, like a lot of expansion. Whenever we feeling like there's a problem, there is a constriction because there are no options. And the more you can reflect, the more you can brainstorm, the more you can think of all the different ways there are out there that everybody, millions of people in the world, can solve this one problem that I'm sure you're not the only one in the world that has this problem. You can start to see that, wow, I have many options. There are many ways to go here. There is no one right way. It's whatever I choose. It's whatever I want. And you just get that huge sense of expansion, like, I'm going to do this. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to do this. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to do this. And here I go trying to grow and learn how to manage my problems and my challenges in my life. And it creates such a great feeling of power, empowerment. Another benefit of solitude is that it does bring up the inner critic. It does bring up doubts. It does bring out negativity. So, especially depending on how you were raised, or how the environment around you, the school kids around you, your teachers around you, your parents' relationship around you, so the environmental conditioning. If you have quite a strong critic, so someone in your house was always pointing out the negative things, you will have picked up that habit and you will always pick up the negative things. If there was someone around you who was very doubtful or very fearful for your safety and loved you so much that they mollycoddled you, you're going to be that, there's going to be an inner critic within you, like a little mom inside you, also repeating some of those things. So the interesting thing is that when we're alone, that little parent part of us also comes out to start repeating those things in that situation. Like, why did you do that? How come I did that? I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I said that. And so that inner critic comes out quite loud. Also, what happens, and it's a natural part of the brain, the natural part of the brain is that it's always a problem solver. So as the parentified part of you comes out to show all the negative, there's going to be the problem side of you that comes up to try to put out the fire, so to speak. So the firefighter within you will come out. And so you're going to hear almost, and it could also be, it's a part of yourself or part of your experience, or it could also be your intuition that says, well, no, this is why I did this. And well, tomorrow what I'm going to do is this. So you can almost in solitude, like without any distraction, without your, Netflix, without your Facebook, without your Instagram, without people talking you will start to hear the internal dialogue of your internal environment. And there is a part of psychology called family systems, and it talks about all the little parts of us inside us and how they have jobs in keeping us safe and how they have jobs to keep us happy. And you will start to notice small voices within that come forward to support you. So in shutting out the external world and what people have to say, you can dive deep into your internal world and really be able to hear the voices that champion you, hear the voices that are critical of you, and then start to fine tune and change the attitude of the critical voice inside so that too comes in line to support you. Now, if this sounds like something that's quite hard, I understand. I was there, and it's not until you actually seek help. So if your therapist does that for you, that's great. If a life coach can do that, great. If a spiritual healer is there for you, that's great. The important thing is to find that person who can help you once you've recognized that it happens. So once you give yourself the time to spend quality time with yourself and stop distracting yourself by putting back-to-back activities and exhausting yourself so that you don't go to your emotions, you don't feel them, you don't want to hear the things that your mind tells you. It starts with you and being able to give yourself space. And this is the most beautiful word that I've included in my life. How to give yourself space. How to give yourself time. How to hold space for your emotions. How to hold space for your truth. I think the word space is so expansive and so wonderful, especially for someone who is so short on time, where you feel like you have no time, you have no time, you have no time. The word space is required here, where you insert space and you give yourself time to do the things you need to do unapologetically. Another benefit of solitude is that it helps you start to pinpoint your negative habits and your negative emotions and allow you to start releasing them. So sometimes all you're actually craving is time away from people, right? Yes. And sometimes we're doing this because we're meeting that need of self-connection. So I remember, and this was me doing it unconsciously, I didn't realize it, but when I was working in the city from 9 to 5, catching a train, getting home at 6:30, and then all of a sudden you have 2 little babies grabbing your feet and a husband who's like, what are we going to eat? It was like, oh my gosh, and I can't go from, being a worker to straight into the kitchen to cook dinner. There's no space, there's no transition time, right? So I used to say like 20 minutes, please, 20 minutes, and I would insert space. And here it would be a shower, a quick walk around the block, anything. And it was craving solitude time. So you could just be with yourself, so you can decompress, so you can allow your emotions and your feelings and not be on edge, creating space for yourself. And in those moments, it is making that transition between leaving the external world and living in it, to starting to live in your internal world and finding out what's happening here today. How are these guys inside here? How am I feeling? How's my heart? How's my mind? How's my blood pressure? How's my breathing? And that's just looking at the physical aspects of the self. If you're a very imaginative, very intuitive, very kinesthetic person, you will have different names for different parts of you. If you're someone who looks after your energy centers, and you'll be really in tune with your solar plexus, and how is she? If you're someone who's really in tune with your heart chakra, you'll be like, how's my heart chakra today? If you have a beautiful cloud that lives up here, or a beautiful third eye, that I need to take care of her today, how is she doing? So it's being really intimate with yourself and checking in on yourself every day whenever you feel like it needs it. So for example, a lot of us know that a headache, when a headache comes up, that means I'm straining myself. When my eyes are sore, that means I need to take care of my eyes and close my eyes and look away from the computer. Okay, some people, and this was me, and I'll say it, I'll confess it right here, it's like, headache, don't have time for that crap, take 5 Panadols. Not really, I would take 3, but take 3 Panadols because it's really strong and I need a really extra strong one. And it was just my way of coping or not coping, not hearing the message of, this is too much. You now need to shut it off, and you need to walk away and just give yourself some time, some space. Stop thinking, stop analyzing, stop trying to, fix all the problems. So, so I hope that helps to highlight the benefits of solitude and how it is so important for us to give ourselves time so we can start to accept ourselves and love ourselves and take care of ourselves and heal from the past and live consciously and really enjoy everywhere you're at, even when it's crazy heck busy. you're still loving it. You're loving being in the busy instead of being like, oh my God, I'm so stressed being in the busy. And that's the difference between how to handle yourself and being able to emotionally manage yourself versus I can't, I'm so stressed, I'm going to have a heart attack. Definitely not a good place to be. So a few things here to help you with quality time. Meditation is definitely quality time. It's, even though it could be guided, it's still you going inside yourself to talk, to find out your inner talk, your inner world, and connecting with yourself. A little bit of hobbies. So that's one of the questions, the prompts that I asked. What's a hobby? What do you do on your own? You know, you love your own company, and this is part of it. Quality time for yourself, giving yourself space to do something wonderful that brings beautiful feelings. And for me, it is a walk. It is drawing. Sometimes I'll sit and draw, and there's just chaos, teenagers all around me, and here I am humming and drawing, and I've created my own environment, and I'm just vibrating, resonating within, making myself feel good. Sometimes it's puzzles. I'll pull out 1,000 puzzle and I'll just and yeah, that's, mom is not here. Mom's on her puzzle time, and that's me creating that boundary between me and my family. Even though I'm there with them, I'm really in here with me, expressing, decompressing. Relaxing. So anytime you are so anytime you can't sleep, there's resting and there's sleeping. So a lot of people are like, I can't sleep, I can't sleep, I can't. Okay, take it as this is quality time alone. I'm resting. I'm actively resting. I'm choosing to heal. You can also use the word I'm healing, I'm resting. I'm relaxing. These are all things you give yourself to remove yourself from a very stimulating environment that's put on by others and going into your own world. So that's it from me today. I would love to know what activities you do for yourself to find quality time for yourself and start to know yourself on a very intimate level. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody, and I'll see you in my next video.